minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this random Monday that is of absolutely zero significance to the Smash Up Discord, I want to talk about 5 cards that I think are often overlooked. For this video, I wanted to focus on what I consider to be the golden age of Smash Up, which occurs after Munchkin but before Marvel. During this time, you started to get the card resolution order, some baselines started to appear, and Crank It Up was starting to be formed. I think these 5 cards are rarely discussed despite having a lot of value. It doesn't mean they are too strong, it just means that I want to talk about them as many of them can be strategy driving. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to go in chronological order, starting with the Mythic Greek minion who never gets discussed, Jason. Mythic Greeks used to be incredibly strong, only to fall out of favor recently. But when they were popular, all the focus was on Heracles and Odysseus. But consider this. Based on thousands of games, I would say that a player probably has at least 4 minions when a base scores. With Mythic Greeks, because Argonauts are minions playable as actions, that number might be higher on occasion. That means that Jason can pick a base and give you at least 4 power there as an amplifier. He's global, which is fantastic. But more importantly, he got the errata to no longer be the first action, which followers of the channel know was one of my biggest pet peeves of archaic wording. He is not a free trigger, but you have to play an action, and when do you not play an action when breaking a base, as his power is temporary? When you consider the power boost, you realize that he is effectively Captain Amazing, or a better Cap, who got nerfed to others. He can provide a quick power burst on your turn, and he is great for Cam, and most importantly, he lets you do more with a single action when you aren't chaining all Greek actions together, reducing their reliance on Odysseus. The next card to appear on my list is Hyperspeed 10. Hyperspeed 10 is a complete base wipe that requires 0 presence on your end, so you can just steal everyone's minions and get a super efficient win. You can send everyone into ninja bases, and it's worth noting Winter Squash is in the set. With recursion to hand or play, this can make it very hard for players to start advancing anywhere because they can steal everything. I had mentioned years ago in a double feature ranking that Fortune and Glory was stupidly strong for a double feature, and this is that card on steroids. Thankfully only a single copy. You may not know that Hulk Smash used to be Hyperspeed 10 that required Hulk to be there, but this doesn't, and Hulk Smash was deemed so unfun that it makes me wonder how Hyperspeed 10 slipped through. When people think of Star Roamers, they tend to think of Teleport Overflow or Science Officer spam, or saving minions after scoring, but this card can equally be impactful even if it's just a one-time reset. The third card to appear is I Said No Camels. Card draw baselines are really hard because I believe action draw 2 cards is bad, though my stance has softened somewhat. I consider draw 3 to be really good. Tech Center types can be draw 3, but it's very hard to play them terminally, which means you are essentially offering first place on a platter if you play it non-terminally for any good amount of value. And if the faction has the wrong context for it, these cards will almost never be played. I do think Explorers have a good context for it though, because you could respond to breaking a base with 3 Crypt Looters. Other players have no setup, it can be hard for them to respond with back-to-back bursts, so you start with 3 minions, maybe a Lost City, and your regular minion play, so that could be draw 5 on your leadoff turn. And if you don't need the cards, you have the power option. I wish that there were more orb manipulation in the game, because these 2 effects combo very nicely, and it's the flexibility that you can take either route that makes this card overlooked in my opinion. The next card is one I did talk about recently, but in my defense, I've had this video in my head for months, Honor the Fallen. And Honor the Fallen builds on everything I said before, because it lets your minion count grow safely and then cash in at the end. This does have more risk, and some players would say it's slow, but those players would be wrong. The greatest factor holding this card back is that Samurai don't have a context to swarm and it is swarm friendly. And before you say Yokai Attack, it doesn't net a minion play, it just effectively moves one. However, what Honor the Fallen does do is work with destruction and any interim losses as opposed to waiting for after scoring. This allows you to use Yokai Attack to pivot, collecting incremental value, before swarming on the base eventually in the midpoint of the game. Given the right partner context, this is extremely strong. Samurai is just the wrong context. The last card is Red Riding Hood of Grimm's. Red Riding Hood also rivals the power output of Captain America and Captain Amazing, despite losing the globalness of Jason. However, she comes with one key feature, being 3 power. She is 3 power to access, but almost never 3 power in play. Being 3 power gives you tremendous opportunities to draw, play, or recover her, and she is a great finisher. She is definitely drowned out by Frog Prince, which gives you minion plays from the discard, and Rumpelstiltskin, who can get you any card. However, she is an excellent target for both because of the single card raw power she provides. Her condition, if you can even call it that, is non-existent. Compare this to the Mayor of Halloween Town, which stands a realistic chance of not triggering. She is one of the best soldier variant finishers in the game, even though I think some cards post-Grim are stronger. If you are playing Killer Plants or Frozen or Teens or anyone with superior soldier access, Red Riding Hood is definitely a card you could build a strategy around, so don't overlook her. I've always enjoyed finding hidden value in overlooked cards, and these cards all have impactful moments for me in my Smash Up life. It'd be great if they got more attention. Using the same range of It's Your Fault to Culture Shock, what's a card you think is overlooked and not talked about enough? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.